I mean, I always like me and Devante always wrote songs. Like we wrote songs as kids. Like we was right anything we thought of. Like we had a song called "Just Share." I remember one time my brother he had some chicken or something, and I was like, man, just give me something. He wanted to give me his chicken. And I wrote a song called "Just Share," and it was like we were writing stupid songs. You know, one of them was "Get a Whooping by Our Parents," and I made a song called "40 Lashes." It was like we just write silly songs, but actually some of the melodies we actually kept and used as real songs. So it's like, we would write all the time. And, we never thought nothing of it. Like when Devante wrote Come and Talk to Me, the first time I heard it, I think he was 16 years old. And he played it for me. I was like, and this before he even thought about doing Jodeci. It was like he had wrote this song. And I was like, man, this song should be on the radio. And it was a song he wrote. I mean, he gave it to me in cassette tape. And I kept listening to it. I was like, this is something. And I was like, man, this is something. It was Come and Talk to Me. And it had a girl singing on it. Then he put JoJo on it first. Then it was KC on it. And it just kind of grew into what it is now. But it was just a song he had made. He would write songs like that all the time. And, if he dug back in his catalog of songs, I mean, he could, we could actually make songs forever. But, a lot of those songs ended up on Forever My Lady album. They were just songs that he had just made up on the fly. And, from then on, it was Forever My Lady, then the Diary of the Mad Band, and Showed After Party in the Hotel. But a lot of those songs came back from Forever My Lady days that we wrote when we was teenagers.
Wow.
Love You for Life was written at the same time Forever My Lady was written, So that's how that went though. And me, as far as I always wrote, but me just being around my brother and just learning and him guiding me on how to do it as far as like my production with it and everything. I just kind of took it more serious as time went on,
Oh, so those early days, and I wonder how it's like having an older brother that's extremely talented like that. Does it mean that does it limit how you brought your stuff? Did you think, no, I can't bring my songs because of that? Or how was it for you?
When we fight so much in the studio. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. We argue so much in the studio, like, get on up. He hated get on up. He's like, he hated it. But I was like, man, I'm telling you. So we went back and forth. And he'll bring me a song and what you think about this? And I don't like the drum. Give me 1 second. I'm sorry. Can you call Justin? Yeah. So, he'll bring me a song and be like, well, what do you think about the drums on this? I'm like, I don't like this. And he exactly what I tell me to do the opposite. That's just how he is. But I have to always credit my brother for telling me this. When we first moved to New York, we moved to the projects in the Bronx, and I will always go play basketball every day. And every single day, every day. And he told me one time, he said, listen, he said, what you need to do is, you ain't getting paid to go out there to that park and play basketball. You better pick up this drum machine and spend as much time on this drum machine and writing these songs and this keyboard as you do on that basketball court, because this is going to keep you paid for the rest of your life. And that's what he told me, that always stood out in my head. And I was like, you're absolutely right. He said, you don't get paid to do that, but this is what you get paid for. Wow. And he told me, I always remember that he told me that. And I was like, you know what? This is as much time as I spend for things that I don't get paid for. I better spend time for the things that's going to support me for the rest of my life. So
yeah,
that's one good bit of advice he told me.
When they're recording for My Lady.
Hey, yo, D, can we get one more in? Can we put the pen on one more?
I'll be sure to like it. He said he wrote For My Lady. Yeah. That nigga didn't write For My Lady. I wrote that shit. Al-B came in and wrote the verse, and he did my shit. Don't put this out. I'm talking to Al-B. That's my nigga. Don't put that shit out. That's my nigga. But he right. That nigga showed me a lot of shit too. That's my nigga. He gave me a lot of stuff. Nigga, you gonna put the nigga out there. See, y'all what y'all look at.
No, you look fantastic, my man. I love it.
You lost all that weight. Now I've been drinking my shit on.
No, hold on. Guess what? You Devante Swing. You Devante. I know you. No, you look good, boy. I'm proud of you, boy. I'm proud. Yo, listen, that's my little brothers, man.
Yes, sir.
You got nothing but love for them. I'm so proud of them.
Is a nigga.
I love my brothers, man. My brothers be doing it, man. Get it in. Let's go.
Cigarette in that nigga.
No. Guess what? That's hookah. There you go.
All right. Edit that shit, nigga. Don't put all that shit out. All right.
And it was such a poem and a story. When that was recorded, did you realize the impact it was going to have? Did you,
to be honest, the first couple of lines of that song, we went back and forth, like, because we're so young. I mean, we're 16 and 17 years old, and we was talking about having babies. you know, it's life, it's reality, you know, and we say, you know, at the end of the day, that's how we wrapped our minds around. This is reality. This is people, you know, 14, 13-year-olds having kids, you know, 16 and having kids. And, you know, so we try to, as a band, we've always tried to speak to every situation, every person, every culture, everything that's going on, you know. So, you know, like we did a whole AIDS campaign, you know, because young people, you know, we did a whole, you know, Jodeci for urban AIDS. We spearheaded the AIDS campaign. So we try to just incorporate a lot of things into what our band is, not just go out there and just talk about just sex and sex and sex. You know, we just talk about a lot of different things, a lot of issues that people can relate to.
Okay. Come on.
My nigga Al B. Burner, you know what that is. I'll be sure.
Devante.
I ain't even looking right now. Al, you can't
look, you're looking right now.
That's a little pretty boy ass nigga trying to put me on this motherfucker, nigga. You get on this shit.
Listen, hold on. First of all,
that nigga know he family. That nigga been, come on.
Listen, let me tell you something.
I know what it is.
The bottom line is this. It's Devante Swing. Okay? Listen, you say the name Quincy Jones. You say the name Teddy Riley. You say Devante Swing. You say...
Don't give me props like that, Al. I'm not one of them.
I know you're not, but that's my job. That's my job. Come on. Come on. We done spent so many days in the little room, built the studio.
I don't know his family. I know his mom's. He know what it is.
She was cooking the chicken wings. Hold on, remember?
He know what it is.
When we was doing the first Jodeci record.
I'll get me off camera, nigga. You know I do this shit.
D, I love it. Listen.
What did you think of Guy? Did you know about Guy back? I mean, what was your thoughts about that?
We listen to Guy all the time. You know, that's why we, you know, our up-tempo is, we try to make him sound like Teddy, you know what I'm saying? Up-tempo, on our up-tempo side of Fat My Lady, we was going through this whole New Jack Swing thing, our version of New Jack Swing. But Teddy, we love Guy. We love Guy, still to this day. I mean, Peace of My Love, you know, Groove Me, Teddy Jam, there was all the songs we played all the time, you know? So they were heavy rotation.
When you did join Uptown, did you get to see, as producers, did you get to see Teddy produce and work?
Never.
Oh.
My brother did it with Teddy one time in Virginia Beach, but this was after when he had the studios. Devante went to visit him. I stopped by, and you know, I never got to see him work in the studio. I think he was more, you know, he knew that we were on his heels, and he wanted to hide his secret.
You know, it's funny enough because when they did a tribute to Andre Harrell, Jamie Foxx, Breon Scott, and Breon and Teddy said when Jodeci came out that he says, "Wow, we had to move on because you did come out, and you know, and maybe jokingly, but it was not because you guys came out with a very different sound."
Teddy, this is the first time you heard this. That's when I felt like Guy was blown out. That's why I felt like, yo, I got blown out because Jodeci took the spot, and I went to go work with Michael.
Teddy, let me tell you something. Don't make me climb through this Instagram live and slap your face.
Why?
Don't you ever say that. Don't you ever in your life.
Devante Swing.
Devante Swing of Uptown. Eddie, if you want to talk about Devante?
You know, it's crazy, man. Devante is so musical. Devante had like 10 keyboards in his house. And
all day.
From the church, you know, and tell you a crazy story. I had actually met Devante. He told me this a year after they signed. He said, you know, I guess we did a show in the Carolinas. Him and KT came to the show when we were doing soundtrack. And they were asking me, I guess, about the drum machine. And I showed him the SV12. He said I showed him the SV1200. And I was like, yo, this is SV12, and this is what we use. And he said he went and bought one and started making records and then doing demos. And then they end up at Uptown like a year or two later with their demos. I was like, yo, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Yo, let me tell you something. They came to the Apollo. When they came to the Apollo, we were doing the Guy show.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, Dre got a new, somebody came up to me and said, Dre got a new group, Jodeci. And I was like, yo, when I went to go study and hear their music, it blew me away. But I was like, okay, I got to go before that right now.
That should have changed how New Jack was. Were you guys aware of the impact you had on the whole music scene?
Like I said, I knew we had something different. And, you know, I think a lot of artists were trying to sound like other artists. We never tried to sound like anybody else. We just wanted to fit I think, people to be accepted by our peers, which was Teddy and Aaron and, you know, Guy. And I think we just wanted to be accepted, but we always had our own thing. So I think on our up-tempos, we try to say, okay, well, we can make our up-tempo sound a little New Jack Swingy, but big choruses, big harmonies, and chord changes, you know. And they didn't get that. They didn't get it. So then, you know, our ballads is what, you know, we kind of took off. But, you know, we always paid homage to Teddy. Teddy's one of the greatest producers, and I would be lying if I said that he didn't influence our up-tempos in the way we, you know, looked at up-tempos and New Jack Swing, because he was a king of New Jack Swing. Yeah. And that was a whole sound right then. He changed sound to New Jack Swing. When we came, kind of just changed again. Yeah. To, you know.
Hey everyone, I want to thank you for being part of Halftime Chats. This new update is really about our membership, and I'm really excited to be able to fully launch the membership page. There will be things like full interviews from day one. As soon as the interview drops, you get access to it without any ads on it. There'll be some exclusive member-only videos that will just be some behind-the-scenes stuff and some other things that we will never be broadcast. For some members, you can be able to get actually 2 interviews, because I do have a backlog of almost 7 or 8 interviews that I don't even know when I'm going to be able to broadcast them. So you're able to get at least some of those up front, and some just behind the scenes stuff, because there's a lot of stuff that goes behind the scenes that I have never been able to talk about or release. For anyone else, you know what, the videos will still be the same. Over a week or a week and a half or 2 weeks, depending on how long it is. So everything stays the same. The polls stay the same. The community chats, the community stuff stays the same. But I think with the membership stuff, I'm able to add a little bit more and invest a lot more time and energy in really supporting the members. So I do hope you come on that ride with me. I appreciate the support, and this will just help me continue to invest in taking things to the next level. Take care.
I begin to